Hello, everyone. This is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and let's talk about The Batman, specifically Ben Affleck stepping down as director, and will he walk away from the movie altogether? Well, here's the thing. According to an article by Forbes, and I'll link to, actually, it's a movie pilot article, but they're quoting Forbes, so I'll just link to the movie pilot article, and you can read both and decide what you want yourself. Apparently, Ben Affleck is not too happy about the direction the Batman is taking. As you are well aware, originally he was going to write, direct, produce, and star in The Batman. Now he is stepping down as director, which, to be perfectly fair, I would not have been too surprised if that had to happen at some point. Because here's the thing: Ben Affleck is playing Batman, and he's in this big, bulky suit, and it was always going to probably be a logistical nightmare for him to be filming an action sequence, and then after filming the sequence, pretty much walk in this big hunky suit and like, okay, let's see what we have. Oh, okay, no, we got to do it again. That might have been too much. But the reasons for him stepping down as director, I think, spoke volumes, and that's why this news wouldn't surprise me in the very least. Apparently, the disagreements came between Affleck and Studio Warner Brothers when Affleck wanted to delay the movie to get the script right. Because here's the thing: Affleck has now been in at least 3 of these DC movies, with one of them coming out this year. And 2 of them that we have seen were absolute garbage, particularly Suicide Squad. Granted, he was a cameo in that, but both Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice were on my list for the top 10 worst films of the year. The DC Extended Universe is in disarray. It's an absolute free fall. They have not produced a good movie for this thing yet. They can turn it around with Wonder Woman or Justice League this year, but we're running out of time. People's patience will dry up with this. And Affleck, who was in these movies and knows how hard he's working on these and sees the final results, knows this. And I think when he accepted the Batman role, he was accepting it on the quality of the Dark Knight movies. He saw Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, and it's like, yeah, I would like to be part of that. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? And when he probably saw the movies he was making compared to what Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale were making, I could see him going like, this is not what I signed up for. So apparently he had talks with Warner Bros. And said, hey, the script, it's not finished. It's nowhere near finished. We need to delay this movie so that we can get it right. We can't keep making these types of movies. And Warner Brothers said no. Warner Brothers was way more concerned with meeting their deadline than they were about making a good movie, which has kind of been the story for all these DC movies. And I believe that because here's the thing: I've seen Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, and to a lesser extent, Man of Steel. And it's like no studios in their sane minds would actually release these movies the way they were and say, oh yeah, these are good. We want to stake our reputation on them. But they did. And unfortunately for us, the movies, forget that chime, the movies were actually pretty successful, all things considering, even though they were terrible. So when Affleck showed up and says, hey, we need to delay this movie because it's not ready and we don't have a working script, Warner Bros. Can look and say, hey, we've released 3 lousy movies and they've all made almost $1 billion each. Why do we care about making the movie any better? We're going to stick to our release date. And so what does Affleck do? Well, his name is going to be on the type marquee at that point. You know, after Live by Night's critical thrashing, which it was an average movie. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. It was certainly no Argo or Gone Baby Gone. It just wasn't. He probably saw the writing on the wall and said, you know what? Excuse me. I can't do this again. So I'm going to not be the director. And he's probably, because Warner Brothers isn't delaying the movie to work on the script is probably more or less finished. Like, whatever he's not happy about with it, he's probably going to have to do with it. Well, according to the Forbes article, I'm going to quote this. Unfortunately, among the things I heard about his departure as director, I heard a few specifics that, if true, lead me to worry that there is at least a chance Affleck could also walk away from starring in the picture. I don't feel those concerns are as likely to bear fruit, and I still expect Affleck will finish the screenplay as planned and then start prepping for the role by getting into Batman shape to ensure he's physically and mentally prepared for the role. That said, I do believe there's a chance now that Affleck could depart the project as an actor, winding up merely serving as co-writing and producer. And a later quote, Mark Hughes, this is the Forbes journalist, said, "Even assuming he does star in the Batman, I think the odds Affleck might walk away from the DCU after the film have increased." And I agree. I agree. Here's the thing. Affleck might not be the greatest actor in the world. He never has been. Never will be. I'm sorry if there's any Affleck fans. He's just not the greatest actor in the world. But he is a good director and writer. He's won Oscars for Best Original Screenplay and Best Picture. This is obviously a man who knows what quality looks like. And, I mean, there was that meme, the sad Affleck meme, which he's joked about later, but I can imagine him having that expression as he's watching the final cuts of these movies and going like, oh my gosh, I'm 50 years old, or 45, or whatever, however old he is, and I'm nearing the end of my career potentially. I don't want this to be my career. So he goes to Warner Brothers like, hey, the script, it's not ready yet. We need this to be good. Please give me another year to work on it. And Warner Brothers says, no, we have a release date to meet. And that's the problem with these cinematic universes. Quality be damned. Throw it out the door. We don't care about quality. The goal is to keep the franchise alive, to keep it in people's minds. They'll pay to see it whether it's good or not. And we've proven it, and we'll prove it again. So Affleck steps down as director. Now, he probably can't get out as a writer, or, well, actually, he can't get out as actor just yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if afterwards he was like, you know what? I'm out. If this is the mess you guys are going to create for yourselves, you're not going to do anything to fix it. I see no reason to stick around. And that's disappointing, because here's the thing. I was one of the few people who defended Affleck's hiring as Batman. Was it my first choice? No. But I understood that from Warner Brothers' perspective, this was likely an investment. They were investing not just in Ben Affleck, the actor. They were investing in Ben Affleck, the writer, producer, and director. I think they had hoped that they were going to make him kind of like the Godfather and fix the storyline problems. And it's clear it hasn't worked. And I don't know if it's because he's even contributing much, but when the story breaks that, hey, Affleck is walking away because he's doing the very thing I believe Warner Brothers hired him to do, and they said no, then yes, I would walk away too. And so enjoy him while you can, folks. I don't think he's long for this universe. And you know what? Good riddance if that's the case. Ben Affleck, the director and writer, not necessarily the actor, but the director and writer deserves better than this. He deserves to be treated better by Warner Brothers than this. Warner Brothers owes it to their fans to actually make a good movie at one point. And if they're saying no to the one sensible person who could clearly get them to stop and think about what they're doing, then I have no hope for this franchise. And here's the thing. Warner Brothers, they want their cinematic universe. And they don't want it today. They want it yesterday. And it has resulted in overblown and wildly expensive bores for movies. And this can't continue. But it seems like this is the direction Warner Brothers wants to continue. So there you have it. I guess we're just going to have to deal with that. So anyway, that's my thought. What do you folks think? Do you care if Ben Affleck leaves? Do you not care? I'd like to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.